We are in the early evening sun in Oschersleben. Welcome to the Euro NASCAR Playoffs 2025 in the Open Division for the first time this season. We are racing for double points, and it comes at Motorsport Arena Oschersleben, a circuit that historically has had many exciting and dramatic moments. We've already seen that in the Pro Division earlier today. This circuit often yields drama when Euro NASCAR's in town.
The grid walk in the Open is not that long and you're a little bit far back. Dominic Shark, birthday today, home race with promotion, contract extended to 2026. What an amazing day, right?
Yeah, and the weather is really good. Yeah, we will see what bring the race for me. My start position of 15. It's not so good, but it's not so bad for me. Yeah, in the race we have maybe chaos, and the Pro race was crazy. Maybe it's the same in the Open Series, and yeah, then we'll see on the end of the race.
All right, good luck, have fun. Thank you so much. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you very much, Andre. Great to hear from down there on the grid. Lots of drivers will be focusing forward, not only to the race to come, but the championship battle that faces us. We'll go to Thomas Krasonis, who is certainly one of our title contenders.
Yeah, thank you so much, Adam. Thomas, really good starting position, but we saw in the Pro race when something is going wrong in turn one, this can be a huge mess. How do you want to prevent something like this happening in your NASCAR Open?
Well, I don't know what to tell you. It's random acts that could create big problems, you know. It's a fight for the championship. Everybody wants to. There are drivers that are not in the championship and want to make a victory or something. It's normal, you know. You need to have a success in this season, so they are pushing. Everybody's pushing now. It's the playoffs, but yeah, I mean, it was a crash, and you see one crash brings the other. When there is a slow first corner, everybody piles up. So yeah, all I had to do was to avoid the crash. I dropped back many positions, so I would just fight to get back in the top 10. Yeah, we take the points, we get out, and hopefully this race will be a different, you know, situation. But other than that, yeah, I don't think we have a problem with the pace or something. My mistakes and some miscalculations on the qualifying, we weren't more in the front. So yeah, all in all good. Just a good start, a clean start, and I think we can win, you know.
All right, then good luck, have fun. Back to you, Adam.
Great to hear from Thomas Krasonis, the current championship leader, of course, and he is also set to start from row 2 of the grid for this race. However, you'll note that there are no cars on the front row right now. We'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute. Let's go back to Andre.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say. You should be in row 2, but there's nobody in front of you at the moment.
They are coming, I think. I don't know the rules because it's red, the pit lane, so they should stay there, but I think like the spectacular must. I want them in their position. So sorry for my English. I was not prepared to this question.
But what about your plan? What do you want to do? Podium, win? What do you think is possible?
here could be a podium. The three cars in front are very fast. They demonstrated before in the quali. They've got a good pace, good driver. But the first turn, good bulls. Bulls, not balls. Bulls. Bulls. When you put bulls in a small car yard, this happens.
All right, thank you.
Sometime happens.
All right, thank you so much, Claudio. Back to you, Adam.
I think Euro NASCAR in Pamplona is a great idea, personally. So we are waiting for Bruno Mulders and Thomas Toffel to appear with the grid walk on. They can't go down there at the moment. The red light that I think Capelli is referring to is just the fact that they can't go down there now, but once the grid walk clears, potentially Mulders and Toffel can head down there. We are in a situation where a lot of drivers had damaged cars in the pro race earlier on, including Mulders and Toffel, and that's why they are currently not on the grid, repairing up till the last minute. Thankfully not including this car, the number 30, Jill Linster of Retty Jones Racing, set to start this one from 5th on the grid. Liam Hazeman's his teammate in the Pro Division took the win in this car a little bit earlier. Getting a look inside the cockpit there of the number 30 Mustang, which was in victory lane just a couple of short hours ago. But we now wait to see what Linster can do. Let's go to Andre. He's got another driver.
I don't have a driver, but I really want to see something here. Climb the fence for a second. Here we have Bruno Mulders coming to the end of the pit lane. We have also Thomas Toffel there. The 69 of Melvin de Groot and two more cars. I cannot really see who those drivers are, but I tried at least to get some information there for you. So there are a bunch of cars lining up at the end of the pit lane, and we have to see if they are starting at their initial starting positions or they have to take the start from the pit lane.
There you go, the Gorelli Athletics really starting to show there with some of that upper body strength and leg strength you needed for those on-air manoeuvres, Andre. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much for the update there. I think hopefully we will see them roll towards the grid in the last few minutes before the command to start engines. We see there the number 9 car of Sandro Tavaklatsa, who's set to start from 13th on the grid. He is going to be one to watch as well. Of course, we had such a dramatic first couple of corners earlier on today, and we'll be hoping for not more of the same this time. Let's go down to Thomas Dombrowski.
Yes, Thomas, the car was in pieces after the crash in Pro, but the team seems to have done an amazing job to get it back in one piece, right?
Yeah, they always do an amazing job. We saw it in Brenzage. They have nothing to prove, but yeah, again, they did good, and the car is perfect. We can see we're ready way before every team, so now let's place to the race.
Any special plans to avoid something like we saw in Pro?
It's from everybody to avoid this, so I will just try to manage to watch far in front of me and yeah, avoid the most crash possible, but I still be in the fight, so we'll do good. I'm not so happy about my qualifying performance, but the car is good, so we have a lot of chances to get better.
All right, merci beaucoup. Good luck, have fun. It's you, Adam.
Thank you very much, Andre. Good to hear from Thomas Dombrowski. In about 5 minutes' time, we'll be hearing the national anthems of the US and Germany as we get closer and closer to the return to fired engines here for our second NASCAR Euro Series race of the day. Let's go to Jill Linster and see how he's doing.
Jill, this car has been in victory lane earlier because Liam Hazeman did an amazing job avoiding the crash, then managing the pace. There's a lot of pace in this car. What's your plan?
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to say I want to repeat it exactly like Liam because yeah, we know we got a little bit lucky. But yeah, for sure, the speed is in the car. So now I just need to take everything out and hopefully put the car again in victory lane.
We know that you had some health issues during the year. At most, you told me not at 100%. Now 3 weeks later, how's it now? now?
Yeah, actually not. I didn't gain a lot from most to now, so that for sure is also impacting me a lot this season, and also now the race. It's very hot outside, so yeah, I take it like it is. Like for the moment, I cannot change a lot. I can only work on myself, train a lot, and take the right nutrition. And at the end, yeah, we see what I get out today.
Mentally, 100%?
99.
99, okay, that's a high number. It's fine, right?
Yeah, no, that's right. But it's always difficult mentally if you struggle and you cannot give 100%. And I think the people outside also know how much I give to make that happen for the family, the people who supported me to just come back and drive. But for sure, the 100% will come at Zolder.
All right, thank you so much. Good luck. Back to you, Adam.
Thanks, Andre. Good to hear from Jill Linster. 15th in the standings only after having to sit out a couple of events. But we hope that he will be back and fighting for a championship in 2026. He can still fight for some good results this year as well. He'll be starting from 5th on the grid alongside Dombrowski, who we heard from previously. Then there'll be Patrick Schober and Martin Dubek on row 4 of the grid. That's an interesting row number 4 as well. Speaking of Patrick Schober, we're going to go down there now with Andre.
Yeah, I'm listening to you, Adam. You said Patrick Schober. I'm here. Patrick, very quickly, because national anthems are coming up. How's your feeling? What's the plan for today?
Well, finish the race first of all, and hopefully top 5 will be possible. Top 3 would be amazing. The win would be absolutely amazing, but we'll see. Starting from P7, anything can happen. We saw it in the first race. Liam won from P6, so yeah, we'll see.
Now, very important thing, we see the 72 car and the 34 car now coming to the starting grid, and they are taking the initial starting position. So we have now the front row with Bruno Milders and Thomas Toffel. Back to you, Adam.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, there they are. The 72 and the 34 have made it onto the grid, and that is a huge boon, I think, particularly for Bruno Mulders, because he was caught up in all of the drama in the Pro Division earlier on, where he started from the second row of the grid. And if that, as a knock-on effect, had also meant he couldn't take his maiden pole position in the Open Division, that would have been a crying shame. A 132.375 is the time for number 72. On pole position alongside Thomas Toffel, just a few hundredths of a second between the two of them in qualifying. I think this race is going to be very interesting between not just them, but of course Thomas Krasonis, Capelli as well, always one for good race pace. As you see there, the Mountain Tigers American football team. Look at that, number 16 repping everything, making sure all the brands get on the TV screen. Good job, my friend. Let's hope they give you a nice little free dinner or something for making the effort there to make sure everything got on screen. We are just moments away now from the anthems being played here. As you can see, we're within 10 minutes of the most famous words in motorsport. Thanks as always to strongwatches.com for their countdown to command. And we will now observe the national anthems of both Germany and the United States here at Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. We are moments away from the start of the Open Division playoffs in the NASCAR Euro Series. for our performance there. We can now go down to our pole sitter, Bruno Mulders, to find out more about why he was so late to the grid.
Yes, definitely. Your team made it, right? The car, but it was very late. Can you tell me something?
Yeah, we just had the crash. I unfortunately couldn't avoid in a pro race. It's just very bad luck, but team worked really hard and we managed to get the car right just in time before the race. So that's quite nice.
All right, thank you so much. Good luck, because we have to be quick right now. Maybe you can follow me. Maybe we can also find Thomas Toffel right now. But Thomas not here? Ah, okay, he's coming later. So that's it for the interviews. I will now join you in the commentary booth. Oh, wait. There he is. wait. There he is. Thomas, very quickly, you made it to the grid. Everything's fine?
Yeah, I think everything is fine. Now we will see what happens.
Any plans? Special plans for today?
Oh, no, really no plans.
All right, I see you're already gearing up, so good luck, have fun. I will join you now, Adam, in commentary. See you later.
Planning would imply predictability, and if there's one thing we know won't be the case in this race, it's going to be predictability. I think this is going to be every bit as hard to read as the pro race earlier on. And let's see how this unfolds. You see there the number 76 car on the grid as well. That's Mikael Bleekemolen a bit further down the order on row 10 alongside Gordon Barnes. Good to see Gordon back on a Euro NASCAR open grid again. A couple of returning faces, a couple of new faces as well further back in the pack. But a lot of the eyes, of course, are trained on what goes on towards the front of the field here. We just saw Valerio Marzi on row 5 of the grid. It's an all-club competition, row number 5, with Marzi and Jordan O'Brien. I think those two drivers could be ones as solid candidates to move up the field. Of course, O'Brien will be watching the pro race earlier on, would have seen Liam Hasemans pick his way through the scuffles to take an early lead and think, interesting, I know how to do that. I've done that before in the NASCAR Euro Series. Think back to race 1 at Most a few weeks ago, and Jordan has already proven to be quite good at manoeuvring his way through the field. Mulders, Toffel then, both there. We were worried they weren't going to make it. Both cars arriving late to the grid. Krasonis and Capelli on row 2. Linster and Dombrovski on row 3. Patrick Schober and Martin Dubek making up row number 4. There is the THT by Race Art Technology Thomas Toffel entry, and it's a lovely purple fit and finish. And I say it's rather lovely even as someone who used to have to wear purple as a school uniform as a boy, so you know it's good. I hated purple for the longest time. Hoosier tyres also purple, of course, and that's a very bold and lovely logo as well. I think they'll be busy this weekend, actually, the Hoosier truck, because Hoosier are one of very few companies left that you can get sidecar tyres from, and there is a sidecar grid racing with us this weekend, so I think Hoosier have a couple of different things to worry about this weekend. But of course, priority number 1, as always, is making sure all things are good for the NASCAR Euro Series, although of course, since it's the same set of tyres across the qualifying in both races, once we get into this part of the weekend, hopefully they have a bit less work to do. Speaking of having work to do, Thomas Krasonis would dearly like to get himself a race win, I'm sure, at this stage of the season. He is our points leader coming into this race. Only 5 clear, though, of defending champion Martin Dubek. Melvin de Groot, who was the championship leader going into Most a few weeks ago, he's now 3rd in the points, 17 back. Consistency has been the name of his game so far this season, and let's see what he can do this time around. In 4th place, it is Patrick Schober, just 22 points away. He's had a an unremarkable season, but a very consistent season. He's never quite had the edge to be the fastest car out there on the circuit this year in the RDV competition, number 3, but he's kept scoring well, kept having good races, and he's up there as well. Thomas Dombrowski and Sandro Tavat-Kalatza are top 6 in the standings. For De Groot in 3rd in the points. It could be a very interesting day because he's starting outside the top 10, which certainly isn't what he'd have wanted, with his aspirations firmly set on not just trying to win the Legend Trophy, which he's well on course to do, but also taking that opportunity that's been presented by the circumstances of some others up and down the field, and trying to fight for the overall championship here in Euro NASCAR Open as well. So we are less than a minute from the most famous words in motorsport being ushered. You see there, the lights are on the safety car. The safety car is ready to go. Most of the personnel has left the side of their respective cars. The cars should be ready to go as well, and a lot of those teams have worked very hard to make sure that they are there on the grid. The pro race was something of a display of bedlam, especially on the run through the first couple of corners on the first lap. The Open Division drivers will be hoping to keep things a bit cleaner, but we'll have to wait and see. The most famous words in motorsport are about to be uttered. The countdown to command from stromwatches.com is almost at 0. Let's go down to the grid to hear the engines fire. It's alive. The engines are on, and we are about to roll on the formation lap. Andre, Herculean efforts from everyone, or not everyone, but quite a lot of teams in the paddock to get those cars back out there for this Open Division race. And it'll be very interesting to see what happens with those cars that were late onto the grid, especially our front row.
Yeah, definitely, but I took a look at those cars that were damaged in the pro race earlier, and I have to say all the teams did an amazing job. Some of the cars, they look brand new, so they just replaced the bumpers, the fenders and everything. Hopefully under the skirt, under those bodywork, everything is fine, but I think with those really strong cars and teams that are really capable of doing magic within just a few hours or just a few minutes, it's amazing what we see here, and I think everybody's in a good position, in great condition. So I expect a very nice race. Now the safety car just needs to keep going, and there we have the green flag. So we are ready, Adam. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. This run down to the first couple of turns, always a point of interest on a double file rolling start. That's been the case ever since this circuit opened back in 1997. One of the first events that happened here was FIA GT, big high-performance GT cars running 2x2 into the first corner, and there have been many instances of dramas down into turn 1. We're not unique in that regard. Let's see what happens this time. It's Bruno Mulders who starts from pole position for Team Blaker Molen, his first pole in the NASCAR Euro Series. He's alongside Thomas Dorfel on the front row, Thomas Krasonis and Claudio Remeggio Capelli on row 2 of the grid. Then it's Jill Linster and Thomas Dombrowski on row number 3. Patrick Schober of RDV Competition is alongside Hendrix Motorsports' Martin Dubeck, the defending champion, with some work to do, from 8th on the grid. In 9th position, it is Valerio Marzi and Jordan O'Brien, an all-club competition, row number 5. Melvin de Groot is next in the number 69 car. He's joined by Lumitec Racing's Valentino Gambarotto. I'd say there's some question marks as to how that car's going to be handling. Certainly it had a lot of damage in the hands of Gianmarco Ercoli by the end of the pro race earlier today. Most of the rear end had long since been taken off the car in various incidents. The rest of the order order, Sandro Tavard-Kalatza in 13th, Andres Beers in 14th, then it's Dominic Schack in the 99, alongside the 47 of Loris Scenchetti, who I expect to be a little bit further up the field potentially. He should have some good racecraft. Florian Richard is next, alongside Kenko Mura, 17th and 18th, Gordon Barnes in 19th, alongside Mikael Blekemolen. The rest of the order, Sven Van Laar, Mike Wise, and unfortunately it doesn't look like we have Happy Nessa in the number 77 promotion car, at least not on the formation. That maybe she's going to get to the end of the pit lane, we can hope, but certainly that promotion 77 has had a tricky time of things today. They had issues in quali, it had its bonnet up halfway around the first lap earlier on in the Pro Division, so maybe we shouldn't be too surprised that car isn't there for now. The other 22 cars though are present and correct, and that means that almost 9,000 brake horsepower is about to be let loose in the wheel and start zone here in the NASCAR Euro Series. We've started the road to the championship in the Pro Division. It's now time to begin that road in open. The playoffs begins here on this Saturday evening at Oschersleben. It's Mulders versus Tuffel on the run down to the first corner, and they hit the loud pedals. Now we're racing in the NASCAR Euro Series. Mulders went quite early there, and he's got a good launch as a result of it. Hopefully it was a compliant start. He leads the way uncontested through the first corner. Thomas Krasonis side by side with Torfel for second place. It looks like everybody has got through the first corners cleanly this time, mercifully I'm sure, especially for those drivers that were actually involved in the incidents earlier on. We saw there Jill Linster out wide, Capelli forcing him to go out onto the grass a little bit there, and a little bit of contact between them as they rejoined. And there goes Dombrowski rally crossing as well. We've seen a lot of dust getting kicked up so far this weekend at Oschersleben. It's Bruno Mulders though that leads the way. Toffel, Krasonis and then Capelli, your top four.
Yeah, that was a really good start. No major accidents. We saw here and there a little bit of touching. Robin is racing in NASCAR, also in the NASCAR Euro Series, and Bruno Mulders, he's pulling away from Thomas Toffel, who is under pressure by Thomas Krasonis. Capelli a little bit in the grass there, dust kicking off. Then we have Linster, Dombrowski, Schober ahead of Martin Dubeck, Marzi and O'Brien. And now we have them side by side, Thomas Toffel and Thomas Krasonis battling for second position. But in the moment, Toffel holding out 2 seconds. But Krasonis, he looks really racy, really fast. Now he's getting to the inside. He's looking for a pass, but then he gets under pressure by Claudio Capelli. It's so fast how the things are turning around, how they're shifting here. And now we have the first lap in the books, Adam. It was a really good start.
It was. I thought it may have been too good. I was a little bit worried, but it's been declared start is okay by race control. So Bruno Mulders, I think, got that just about right, and he leads by 1.5 seconds at the line at the conclusion of the first lap. That's about as good as you can get for the young Dutchman, who's felt like a potential race winner in the Open Division. Frankly, ever since he arrived to Valencia to make his debut, he's got a clear road ahead of him. He's got a decent gap to Toffel in second place. Then it's Krasonis, then it's Capelli, Linster, Dombrowski, Dubeck, Schober, Marzi and Gambarotto. Your top 10. Jordan O'Brien in 11th position. He's not been able to leap up the order in the manner that we saw last time out in Moss. And just behind him is Melvin de Groot, third in the championship, and he hasn't made the progress he'd have liked to have made on the first lap of the race. You see there a huge compression as they all bounce over that curb at turns 8, 9 and 10. That's always a bit scary. It's quite easy to get the car unsettled doing things like that, but everyone seems to have it down pat these days. Cutting that corner a prerequisite of a fast lap here at Oschersleben. Thomas Toffel, I would say, is under increasing scrutiny here from Thomas Krasonis. I don't think Krasonis is going to rush this necessarily, but there again, he's going to want to claim race victories. However, I suppose that if anybody is going to be claiming the win in this race up the front of the order, Bruno Mulders, 7th in the points, 42 back. Krasonis can afford to drop 10 points to Mulders, more so than someone like Martin Dubeck or Melvin de Groot, who are much closer to him in the points table. I think Krasonis, as sensible as measured as he is, Andre, he's not going to take an undue risk trying to get past Toffel.
Yeah, definitely. He already told us in the pre-race interview that he wants to turn his head on and do not do stupid things. He doesn't want to take too many risks and have the big picture in mind, and that's exactly what he's doing. But still, we are in the playoffs. It doesn't even need to be your mistake. You can be caught in an accident, in a situation, and then you lose a lot of position and the points. And when there's a strong guy like Bruno Mulder, yeah, pulling away and maybe going for his first win and having a really good solid position in the overall standings, it just increases the pressure. You need to perform, you cannot afford a mistake, and if somebody is really taking a lot of momentum with him, this can shift the situation for the title battle. So Bruno Mulder at the moment doing an amazing job, almost 2 seconds in front of Thomas Toffel, who is defending like hell at the moment against Thomas Krasonis. Adam, I think this is going to be a very epic battle there for second place.
Yeah, Thomas Toffel doesn't take any doesn't make any fight for position easy. He's the kind of driver that wants to be as far up the order as he can be each and every time. One of those drivers who very rarely gives any quarters in the heat of battle. So we'll see what he can do from here. He was beating himself up a little bit while talking to you post-race after the Pro, where he was second position, much as he is now, and then made a bit of an error into turn one that dropped him down, and a subsequent error that meant he wasn't going to be able to challenge for podium contention. So I think first and foremost in his mind for this race is going to be keeping things clean, keeping things stable out there on the circuit. I think it's so interesting watching the body language of the cars. Thomas Toffel always looks a little bit more aggressive, and whether that eventually takes some tyre life out of the car, it just looks like he's really pitching the car into all of the corners and leaning on the rear axle coming out of the corners. Krasonis looking that little bit smoother and more measured to my eye through some of the corners, and that may pay off a bit later on in the race. You see there Valentino Gambarotto running in 9th position. Valerio Marzi has dropped down to 11th place. Jordan O'Brien has moved into the top 10, and Gambarotto's gotten by as well. So Marzi may have had a bit of an error somewhere out there on the circuit, that you can see O'Brien trying to get around Gambarotto, and it's good to see, Andre, that 11 car is running. The Illumatech car, of course, looked after by the Cal Racing stable. Those guys had quite a bit of work to do on the car after the incident that Gianmarco Ercoli was involved in Pro.
Yeah, definitely. And when you take a look at the car, they really did an amazing job. I had a closer look to it. It was like brand new at the back, and the back was completely destroyed. It's the same for the 24 car. You see here and there some scratches, of course, but still they really made an amazing job getting those cars ready, and there was not that big of a break between those races. We have a 5-second penalty for Valerio Marzi, track limit infringement there for the Italian in the club competition car, the 55 in 11th place, so we have to add 5 seconds there as well. So yeah, a little bit of a setback there for Valerio Marzi. We have a nice battle there for 5th position between Linster and Tomasz Dąbrowski. And when they jump, when they dance through the chicane that we're going to see right now, this is exactly what Michael Marquez told us before the Pro race. There you have to really adapt to those cars and get the weight distribution right and how it moves when you change directions. And I really love the pictures when we see the cars dancing through this very fast chicane here in Oschersleben. Adam, I think there you can see those cars are brilliant to drive.
It's one of the reasons why I'd absolutely love to see an airfield race with these cars one day, Cleveland style, because I can only imagine what they'd look like over some of those bumps and contortions on the road. But even on these curbs, as you say, it is quite something to watch how the cars react to the bumps. These light cars at 1250 kilos, they're fairly lightweight compared to a lot of their kind of market rivals, and indeed most stock cars. Of course, the power is delivered in a much different way. A lot of torque from that 5.7 litre V8, 400 plus brake horsepower. They are a unique proposition within Europe, and indeed a unique proposition within stock car racing, as anyone who's come over from the US will tell you. They're a little bit of a learning curve for many reasons, including the fact that they're intended to be symmetrical. They're intended to be road course cars first and foremost, and that certainly makes them unlike anything else run under the NASCAR sanctioning body. You see there the number 7, Martin Dubek, on the case here against Thomas Dąbrowski. For Dubek, dropping points now at this stage of the season is the absolute no. He made some issues, or he had some issues variously at the start of the year. I remember at Vallelunga and indeed at the season opener in Valencia as well. He had kind of 2 very good races and 2 kind of poor races, which cost him a little bit in the early stages of the championship. But now that we're into the double points playoffs, he wants to be as close to Krasonis, if not ahead of Krasonis, as he can be, and he certainly is going to want a top 5 finish from this race at the minimum. But right now he's got the not insignificant task of keeping Patrick Schober behind him.
Yeah, Martin Dubek, a top 10 finish is the minimum goal he has in this playoff round. Of course, those points are so important. You cannot afford, and we said it 1,000 times already, any single mistake. And Martin Dubek also looking at the big picture. Now we have the fight for second place. Thomas Krasonis on the outside, but Thomas Toffel, he's still defending against the number 13 car of PK Carsport, Race Art Technology in the 34 car. They did a really good job finding a good setup here for the Motorsport Arena Oschersleben in Germany. Thomas Toffel really strong. He was already strong here last year, so this is a track that suits the driving style of the Swiss driver. But we see also that Bruno Mulders is now managing the race, because he's keeping Adam the gap at around 1.5 seconds really consistently. So I think he's able to manage this gap and preserve the tires for tomorrow's race.
And car 69 now has a penalty. Melvin de Groot, who's unfortunately running only 12th at the moment. He has a 5-second penalty for track limits markers, as they say, at turn 9. You can't be hitting those markers on the inside of turn 9. And he's got a penalty for that. Marzi's number has come up again. I'm not sure if that's a second penalty or just reconfirming the previous penalty. Krasonis all over the back of Toffel as they come across the line. The lap before the one they just finished was the fastest race lap we've seen all weekend in either division from Thomas Krasonis. The first race lap to be well into the 132s by my reckoning, and Krasonis looks like he is on the case here up against Thomas Toffel. But again, Toffel making it difficult. There you can see him threatening to block the inside line into Hasseröder turn 3, but he doesn't, and that's going to prove costly. Krasonis gets through, and in fact the way that happened, I get the feeling that Toffel maybe wanted that, maybe just said, look, take the inside and get through, because that was most unlike Thomas Toffel. If he wanted to claim the inside, he would have done. He chose not to.
Yeah, now Bruno Mulders really needs to speak to his spotter, because I think that Thomas Krasonis is a little bit faster than Thomas Toffel, and maybe he's able to close the gap to Bruno Mulders. So I think the time of managing this gap is over. Bruno Mulders has to floor it again. Let's take a look in the next 2-3 laps how the gap between Mulders and Krasonis is evolving over the course of this race, because I believe that Krasonis will catch up a little bit. Now we have the next battle, Thomas Dąbrowski and Claudio Remigio Capelli. Capelli there with a strong drive in the 5 car of Academy Caffi Motorsport, but then the counter-attack of Thomas Dąbrowski. What a nice race. And then there's Martin Dubek involved as well, and Patrick Schober.
Yeah, lots going on here in the latter half of the top 10. Gambarotto tagging Schober, and that's going to allow Jordan O'Brien to draw alongside as they run towards turns 1 and 2. O'Brien's going to get a little bit of slipstream off of Patrick Schober ahead, as well as you see the 11 car coming unglued there at the rear fender. He does, however, stay ahead. Valentino Gambarotto just about keeps Jordan O'Brien and the other club competition car of Valerio Marzi at bay. To your point regarding Bruno Mulders, I don't know how much he was managing the race before. I mean, his fastest lap of the race is quicker than anything we saw in Pro earlier on. Yes, that has a part to play, lower temperatures as well. That is a factor in the fact that we are currently going quicker at the front than we did in Pro. But I'm not sure. I think that Krasonis just has that bit more race pace here around Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. I think we're going to have a grandstand finish towards the front of the field between Mulders and Krasonis. Get the popcorn on, as well as a cup of tea. Martin Dubeck there, a bit sideways going through turn 9, and that's the danger, isn't it? Because if you're seesawing at the wheel too much through that compression point, you can quite easily lose the rear end, and it costs you all the way down to turn 11, and that's why Patrick Schober there was having a little look to the inside of Martin Dubeck. Nothing doing for now, but Dubeck is under huge pressure.
And we have now another thing coming up because there's a little bit of lap traffic right now. Mike Weiss got lapped by Bruno Mulders in the last lap, and he lost a little bit of time, Bruno Mulders there. What I saw here outside of my window at the media center of the Motorsport Arena Oschersleben, and the next one is going to be Happy Nessa. The 77 car is back on track, but now we take a look at Gambarotto. He tries everything there against Patrick Schober. It's a nice pile of car, and there we see Mike Weiss.
Yeah, Mike Weiss off the circuit there. Did he fall or was he pushed? I'm not sure, but he gets back underway. Hopefully can stay out of the way of that huge scrum of cars, and he does so. Heads up driving there from Mike Weiss. Doesn't want to get too involved with that huge train of cars fighting it out from about 5th place all the way back down outside the top 10, as we see Gambarotto and O'Brien still very close together. At the front of the order, Mulders 1.1 clear of Krasonis at the line. I think that might be down under a second based on the pattern in the last few laps this time by. Here they go bouncing through 8, 9 and 10, the McDonald's section of the circuit once again. And, well, Gambarotto certainly looking like he could be under fire. O'Brien senses it too, has a little look to the inside. Patrick Schober teased the inside line as well there, but Martin Dubeck not falling for that. And Dubeck will be disappointed here that he's having to fight Schober because he'd rather be trying to hassle Dombrovski. We saw there Gambarotto with a huge lick of oversteer. He did very well indeed to hold on to that one. I think the 11 car might still be a little bit loose, even though they've cosmetically repaired the car. I think it might still be a tiny bit wayward at the rear. We've seen a couple of struggly moments out of corners for Gambarotto.
Yeah, and buckle up. Bruno Mulders and Thomas Krasonis, they are now at front, directly behind each other. And we have Gambarotto off track. Gambarotto off track, now he's losing a lot of positions there. Unfortunate for the young Italian in the Alumitech Racing Ford.
Yeah, he'll be down to, I think, 14th position behind Sandro Tavarkelazza, as we see there. Dombrovski running it out wide ahead of Martin Dubeck. Another huge smoke screen, or dust screen as it is, kicked up into everyone's faces, and indeed the lenses of our camera operators and photographers. They won't be happy. They'll have to clean their sensors this evening, I'm sure. Mulders and Krasonis then half a second apart last time by across the line. That went down by 6/10. If Krasonis closes in by that rate again, they'll be more or less side by side. It's not quite to that extent, but you see there we've got Happy Nessa just ahead now as they go through the very compact turn 13 and 14. This could be risky business for Mulders, and so it proves to be. There has to hesitate out of it as Happy Nessa was trying to allow him through to the left, and I think Mulders would have preferred the right, as we now see them nearly overlapping. They are overlapping as they run down the main straight. Has Krasonis got a good enough run to hang it around the outside at turn 1? The answer is no. but Bruno Mulders is under huge pressure here. This would mean so much to the young Dutchman. A first win in the NASCAR Euro Series Open Division. He's got an outsider's shot at best of the overall championship glory this season. For him, race wins, big results, showing what he can do ahead of season number 2 is really his objective, and he's going to want this win, I think, even more potentially than Krasonis is going to want 10 points.
Yeah, definitely. But the problem is that Thomas Krasonis has plenty of years of experience in the NASCAR Euro Series, while Bruno Mulders is new to the series, new to auto racing, coming from karting. And this is a new kind of pressure he has to handle right now. He knows he has a really strong pace, he has a strong car, but there's a guy behind him, the Greek gladiator, Thomas Krasonis, with a lot of experience and a lot of pace in this PK car Sport Chevrolet. This is going to be a brilliant final to a, what I think, amazing open race here late in the afternoon in Germany. So buckle up, this is going to be an amazing fight for the win. At the moment, Bruno Mulders still in first, but Thomas Krasonis is putting a lot of pressure on the teenager.
Yeah, Bruno Mulders having to drive through the mirrors here. Oh, I think it's a mistake to keep covering off the inside at turn 14, because that only compromises his run out onto the main straight. Yes, I know, easy for me to say from my nice comfy office chair, but still, I think maybe that's compromising his run down the main straight a little bit. But it is at the very least making sure that Krasonis doesn't make a lunge. We've got 5 laps to go. 4 laps to go actually now, since we've crossed the line again, and we are running out of laps now for Krasonis. If he's going to make the move, he's going to make it very soon indeed. We're on lap 13 of 16 here at the Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. Thomas Teufel, meanwhile, is coming under increasing scrutiny as well from Jill Linster, and Teufel's last lap was a 1:36.0, which is some 3 seconds off the pace. I think Teufel may have made a mistake. Maybe he had some lap traffic issues as well on that previous rotation. Either way, it's brought Linster much closer to him as well, so we'll keep an eye on that 3rd and 4th place situation. Capelli 5th, Dombrowski 6th. Capelli also leading the Legend Trophy, and our Masters Trophy leader is the man in the overall lead, Bruno Mulders, doing a fabulous job. For now at least, he's managing to swallow up the pressure from Krasonis, and you see there Teufel and Linster extremely close together as they run down to turn 11. Linster not able to look to the inside there in the back of shot. He stays behind Teufel for the time being. Ditto, the same deal as well between Mulders and Krasonis. Mulders again takes the defensive inside line into turn 14, needs to drift out as wide as he can to make sure he minimises the speed scrub coming out of the corner. He does a decent job at doing that. Krasonis is once again in his draft, as we see there a change for 3rd place in the back of shot. Jill Linster is up into 3rd position, so Teufel has fallen down behind the number 30 Retty Jones Racing team. That would be another overall podium and a great day for them, but Teufel gets very close there to the rear of the number 30. He does well to stop it, and Jill Linster now into 3rd place. Let's see if he can stay there. Mulders, though, driving through the mirrors. Andre, heads up stuff from the young Dutchman. As I said, seems to be swallowing the pressure nicely, and Thomas Krasonis, a fair racer, a hard racer. Yes, he will do everything he can, but you can be sure of a respectful fight with this particular Greek gladiator, as we see Schober and Dubek side by side making contact, and they're off onto the grass. They don't quite get into the gravel, but I think Schober's tyre has gone down. Patrick Schober, whether it was the cause of the contact or whether it's a result of the contact, I'm not sure, but tyre, possibly suspension down on that number 3 RDV competition car, and that's a huge shame for Schober. That's going to knock him well down the championship order during the double points playoffs. There are no more countbacks, there are no more drop scores. These issues are now hugely critical for or against your championship. Mulders defending for his life here. Andre, I feel so sorry for you. You're going to have to run to victory lane. I'm not sure who's going to meet you. Look at these two, side by side.
What an amazing race. Yeah, I have to head down right now, but I will keep you in my ear, so please entertain me. I'm doing NASCAR radio right now. See you later.
Here we go, European MRN, as we see Bruno Mulders getting a tag there from Krasonis. They both keep it on the straight and narrow. This is going to be a grandstand finish if ever there was one. Krasonis looking to the outside at Hasaroda, turn number 3. Isn't going to make it work there, but manages to get the exit quite nice. The triple isn't typically an overtaking zone. The next potential moving place, I would say, would be out of turn 10, depending what kind of move or what kind of run Bruno Mulders makes out of turn 10. Could lead it to an overtaking opportunity at 11. You see there Krasonis taking the wider berth, going through turn 7, trying to make it work for himself as best he can. He had, I think that was a white flag for a slow car. It was indeed. That was Patrick Schober's car going behind the barrier that caused that white flag, but he's now out of harm's way as we see Krasonis looking to the outside here at turn 11 shell curve. That's not going to work on this occasion. The next move I suspect will come at turn 1. Mulders traditionally has covered off the inside line at 14. You see him there slowing up a little bit going into turn 13. He does indeed slightly favour to the inside going through turn 14, and we will begin the final lap with Thomas Krasonis getting a mighty run out of the final corner. He's right on the bumper of Bruno Mulders as we start the final lap of playoff race number 1 in the NASCAR Euro Series. Your points leader, Thomas Krasonis, for PK Carsport in the Chevrolet Camaro number 13, is looking for a little bit of luck that goes against the reputation of the number on his door, but Bruno Mulders wants his first ever win in the NASCAR Euro Series. The number 72 team will be willing on their young Dutch prodigy who has wowed everybody this year in the NASCAR Euro Series. From his debut at Valencia onwards, he has looked searingly impressive, but can he hold on for half a lap against the more experienced man, the more decorated man in our championship leader, Thomas Krasonis? It's worth 10 points, 80 for a win, 70 for second. Krasonis will be sorely tempted to go for it, to try and increase and expand that points lead in the championship battle. Will he make a move through the final corners? It's not the best of runs out of turn 11 or out of turn 10 into turn 11 for either driver. Down the back straight they've gone through 11 and 12. Just a couple of apexes remain. A couple of opportunities remain for Krasonis, and he's right on the bumper. Is it going to happen? Will Mulders hold on? Contact between the two of them. Bruno Mulders around turn 14. Krasonis is going to try it. He gets a great run out of the corner once again, but it will be Bruno Mulders with his debut win in the NASCAR Euro Series Open Division. What a final lap. What a battle, and what a win for young Bruno Mulders. Krasonis takes second, Linster takes third, Thomas Tuffel in fourth place, Capelli in fifth, and Dombrowski rounds out that top half dozen in a thrilling battle to the flag in the NASCAR Euro Series. You see the rest of the top 10 crossing the line at the moment. What a run that was, and the fans here at Oschersleben giving the applause to the stars in that fight, as they well should. That was a great display of Euro NASCAR at its best. A little bit physical towards the end there, but broadly respectful, and in the case of Bruno Mulders, richly deserved, hard-fought race victory. I get the feeling this is win number 1 of what could be quite a significant number. The fireworks are going off here at Oschersleben as a bit of an epilogue to the fireworks that just happened on the circuit. Mulders has had searing pace all season. I see there Krasonis waving to the young Dutchman. He's had searing pace all season as Bruno Mulders, but the luck hasn't always gone his way. It's not the first time that we've seen him in contention for a win, but but it is the first time that he stuck the landing. Team Blake-Molen's Bruno Mulders wins the race from Thomas Krasonis in second position. The number 30 of Jill Linster for Retty Jones Racing, their second podium of the day. Thomas Torfel in fourth place for THT by Race Art Technology. Claudio Remeggio Capelli taking fifth overall for Academy Alex Caffey Motorsport. That is also a Legend Trophy win for him. Thomas Dombrowski in sixth overall and second in Masters Trophy behind Bruno Mulders. Martin Dubeck taking seventh place. Jordan O'Brien up to eighth position ahead of Valerio Marzi and Sandro Tavat-Kilatza. Andres Beers in 11th place. Melvin de Groot in 12th overall. He'll be slightly disappointed with that, given he said after Most that he still had overall championship aspirations. Valentino Gambarotto, after his off-track moment, down to 13th. Loris Cencetti in 14th for Marco Stipp Motorsport. In 15th position, Dominique Schack, the first driver signed up for 2026 in the NASCAR Euro Series. The contract is inked already there. Florian Richard in 16th, Kenko Mura in 17th, and it was Blake-Molen, Barnes, Van Leer and Mike Wise down to 21st. Unfortunately, that man, Patrick Schober, not reaching the flag. It looked like the tyre went down at a minimum, but the way the car kind of collapsed on itself to the right-hand side, I wonder if the suspension collapsed on that car as well. I get the feeling the contact with Dubeck might not have been the whole story there, but if it was perhaps more of a knock than it looked like from our camera angle. Either way, the fact of the matter is that Dubeck still finished in 7th and Patrick Schober failed to reach the checkered flag. Now, of course, there were penalties applied as well. Now, Valerio Marzi's penalty doesn't appear to have been applied yet. Ditto Melvin de Groot. So those standings will change a little bit. Marzi will drop down, I think, to 13th position, and Melvin de Groot will be in 14th place by the looks of it. So they are both going to drop a little bit with penalties owing to track limits violations. There was another penalty dished out as well to the number 33 of Florian Richard. I think that will knock him down behind Kenko Mura once all is said and done. That was a incredible spectacle there at the end. Bruno Mulders' first win in the NASCAR Euro Series has certainly been a spectacular one. It was anything but a clean run to the flag. He had that lead, of course, in the earliest stages, but it didn't last long. Krasonis hunted him down. I think we've already had Mulders out of the car and up on the roof, unfortunately, so I think we might have missed the celebration. I'm sure that's a very happy young man. We'll get the immediate reaction from him with Andre in just a minute or two here, but he's with his team Blake-Molen squad, and he will be a very happy young man. Robin and Sebastian Blake-Molen both congratulating him, and I see Andre down there. We will hear from our newest race winner in the Euro NASCAR Open Division in a matter of moments here. Car 72 for Team Blake-Molen is in victory lane, and its young Dutch driver is there with it. Congratulations to Bruno Mulders. I believe he's down there with Andre.
I cannot repeat what I told you when you arrived here, but what the hell of a ride with Thomas Krasonis. Congratulations, you are a NASCAR winner. How do you feel?
Very good, full of adrenaline right now. So happy that it finally happened during the season. We've been working so hard with the team, also before the race with the late entry and everything, but it all came together in this one.
How was it to defend the first position against Krasonis? It was a battle lap by lap, just inches between you and him. Really a strong battle, a lot of fairness, nothing happened there. can you just talk me how it felt for you?
Yeah, for me it felt really good. Really fair racing with Thomas as well. Really happy, and just it was quite intense, to be honest.
All right, the next step, it's a new thing for you. You have a sticker here, place it on your car.
Perfect.
Bruno Milders.
Now receiving the ultimate test of getting the sticker off the paper, as always, which has gotten harder somehow since the off-season. Most this all started. And once again having to receive some assistance. But Bruno Milders is a race winner in the NASCAR Euro Series. How remarkable that he's just so relaxed in that post-race interview after the battle he just had. I like that it's Nina Weinbrenner as well who's helping out with that. She'll get a good picture because she managed to get the sticker off the paper. Good job. We'll now go down to Jill Linster. He is with Andre.
Okay, half a second you have it, definitely, for this. Jill, you're back on the podium. Yeah. What an amazing race, right?
Yeah, that was really amazing. Also the fights, we lost a little bit at the beginning to the front, and yeah, it was for sure difficult later to close the gap. Also when they started fighting at the end, I was thinking, okay, I closed the gap a little bit, but I also didn't want to push too much on the tires. I know there's a race tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we will have rain, but if we don't have rain, I will have a good set of tires.
So you're smiling. It must be feeling really good to come back like this after the issues you had.
Yeah, for sure. And we didn't went on any racetrack. I didn't went on my simulator. No training actually. So I'm really proud of all the people around me, the team, the car, and everyone who supported me through the hard time now.
All right, congratulations. Thank you so much. Stay with me, Thomas. Okay, you're getting ready for the interview. Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I can help you. No worries.
1 second.
We have all the time you need.
We need the flag.
The flag, of course. And the cap.
Yes. The cap.
And then my questions, of course. What a battle.
Yeah.
Race long after you took over second place, you hunted him down. You were there. And it looked really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's how it's supposed to be, you know, to clear the start, not to destroy the race, for the people to be where they should be on the grid. And yeah, the result is a very nice battle. I was struggling a little bit to pass Thomas Toffel, but I don't know what happened. At some point he made a mistake and I got my opportunity. Then I pushed, tried to catch Bruno, but he played for his first win an incredible defense. I cannot deny this. He was very clean. I pushed a little bit, I tapped, to force a mistake, but all in the barriers of rubbing and racing, as they say. But yeah, all good, completely happy. I have nothing to say, nothing against Bruno. He did a very good race. Everybody did a clean race. Nothing compared to most, so yeah, I'm very happy. I want to thank my sponsors, Costa Mare, Dodoni, my coach Paul Tibas and Alan Day, and my friends, family, and obviously my team, PK Carsport, for giving me an amazing car and giving me the chance to fight for the championship.
All right, thank you so much, congratulations, and I think you need this right now. So back to you, Adam.
Me too. That last lap was pretty intense stuff. Hydration required. Thomas Krasonis, very commendable there. His approach, saying, "Yep, that was amazing driving from Milders to keep me behind," and it certainly was. I think Krasonis quite clearly had the pace advantage over Krasonis, but he managed to stick it out. Krasonis, incidentally, will have pole position for Sunday, tomorrow morning, in the second playoff race of the weekend for the Open Division, since he was the only driver into the 1:32s. And get this, the man who will line up alongside him is Bruno Milders, so that battle could happen all over again. Let's go back down to Andre.
Yeah, Jordan O'Brien next to me. Can you tell me how the race was for you? It seems like it was really exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, miserable would be the word that comes to mind. I mean, it's always fun being on the track, especially in a big V8 stock car, and always grateful to be here for sure, so I can't take that away. But that was honestly the most miserable race of my life. It started immediately. I had an exhaust leak, so the whole time the inside of my car was extremely hot. And I mean, I live in Las Vegas. I'm used to the heat, but just the exhaust smell burning my eyes and nose. And at the end, I got out of the the car, and Perk Ferme was like wobbling, so that was already not fun. And then, just we missed the setup by a good chunk today, so we didn't have the speed. But then at the end, just got ran off the track by a few people that were struggling at the end, that were probably frustrated themselves, which I understand. But I always race everybody clean, and I didn't exactly get that back today, so a little bit of extra frustration on that. But at the end of the day, I think we all respect each other, so I'll go chat with them, and hopefully they give me the same respect, and we can move on. If not, then maybe we have to sort that out on the track, but we'll see. Hopefully not. So hopefully a better day tomorrow, but today I'm going to forget, and we're going to change the entire car for tomorrow. As I told the engineers, we're starting from ground zero, so hopefully something better.
All right, then good luck for that. Thank you so much for being here. And now we move over to Melvin de Groot. I'm really sorry that I have to show, but I need to stay close to the camera. All right, in the Legend Trophy you are on the podium, but to be honest, coming to Most as the championship leader and now starting the playoffs like this, not the plan you had, right?
No, on Friday it was still quite okay. The speed we had in the practice was quite good. We were in the top 3-4. Unfortunately, in the qualifying and in the suspension something broke, so I couldn't do a good qualification, which meant starting at 11, and all these guys are driving the same speed, so it's very difficult to overtake. The car is not great that I'm driving in either, so it was a bit of a boring race, a disappointing race as well.
What do you say about your teammate?
Yeah, for Bruno it's fantastic, of course. Yeah, that he, I know the feeling. So.
So right, then thank you so much. Congratulations. I think I have Sandro here right now. Sometimes I have a really good timing there. Sandro Tavatkiladze, how was your race?
Not as good as previous stage, but it was good. The pace was consistent, but not fast enough today. I think we need to improve the whole setup and my driving as well. So we need to catch the guys in front, like half second to fight for the podiums.
All right, thanks. Okay, thank you so much. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you very much, Andre. My thanks as well to the Euro NASCAR media team, because I've managed to get hold of provisional points here. Thomas Krasonis obviously still leads the championship, 15 clear now of Martin Dubeck, 316. Austin, perhaps, 316, for Thomas Krasonis, and 15 points back from him on 301, Martin Dubeck. Thomas Dombrowski, provisionally speaking, on 284, and he is tied up now for third in the points with today's winner, Bruno Mulders. So Mulders has launched himself right back up there. Melvin de Groot on 279, fifth in the points right now, and rounding out the top half dozen, Sandro Tavatkiladze, who we just heard from, on 269 points, 47 back from the lead. Unfortunately, Patrick Schober is now down to 7th in those points on 254, 62 away from our championship leader, Thomas Krasonis. That is a big mountain to climb now for Patrick Schober, the Austrian racer, with that issue towards the end. 22nd place only ultimately for Patrick Schober. That's going to be a costly day in the office for the RDV competition team's giant Austrian. You see there we have Florence and Nardin champagne waiting for our drivers. And a little bit of French flair to add to proceedings. Bubbly French flair at that. We're now going to welcome our podium presenters on to the stage. And that will be Andre Jovoigt of Hugia, the business development manager from there. Moritz Morstein, who we've seen grand marshalling and presenting all day long. And Daniel Strom from Strom Watches will be presenting the winning trophies.
NASCAR Euro Series Open aus Luxembourg, Jill Linster.
Starting off then with the overall podium and third place man, Jill Linster. Retty Jones Racing, the number 30 car that, of course, won the day with Liam Hazeman's in pro earlier on. 2 podiums for the same car with 2 different drivers. I think that setup is unlikely to be made from ground zero later on. Meanwhile, Bruno Mulders to the top step of the podium. Number 72 at the top once again. Now we're going to observe, for the second time today, of course, the Dutch national anthem. There we go, Bruno Mulders hearing his anthem for the first time as a car racing driver, standing on the top step, hearing his anthem. That must be a really special moment. We've had Andre Jovoigt presenting the trophy there to third place man Jill Linster. Moritz Morstein presenting to Krasonis. And here's Daniel Strom of Strom Watches, the CEO of Strom Watches, presenting the big trophy to Bruno Mulders, race winner in the NASCAR Euro Series for the first time. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say not the last time. Bruno is quite the young talent, and I think there is a bit of sky's the limit thinking going on in regards to his career trajectory.
Und der nächste Programmpunkt, jetzt müssen Sie alle in Deckung gehen, meine Damen und Herren. Denn jetzt gibt's das, was wir alle sehen wollen. Champagne!
Time to spray the champagne. We celebrate once again. Krasonis, it's a big step in the championship. For Jill Linster, it's a continuation of his return to form after fighting illness earlier this year. But for Bruno Mulders, it is glory, a first taste of that glory. They will now pose for the pictures. And of course, we'll then continue on with our podium ceremonies. Next up will be the Legend Trophy classification.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you. Amazing. Als nächsten Programmpunkt haben wir
Hello to the young fans
Trophies.
who are waving at our camera
Die
man.
NASCAR Open-Fahrer über 40 Jahre. Und da begrüßen wir zunächst mal wieder diejenigen, die die Pokale.
Next up, it will be the Legend Trophy, where Claudio Remeggio Capelli came out on top. He'll be joined on that podium by Melvin Groot and also by Kenko Miura for good measure.
Und der erste Platz, Daniel Strom. Aber dann geht es natürlich um die Fahrer, um die Piloten. Auf Rang 3 in der Legends Trophy aus Japan, Kenko Miura.
And here comes the Team Japan Needs 24 driver, Kenko Miura, to the third step of the podium. Hopefully we see him at Zolder as well after tomorrow's racing, because it's always good to see Kenko. Has been a recurring presence in the series for a long time. Melvin de Groot, disappointed with how his race has gone. He sounded disappointed in the interview with Andre. However, he's still in the second spot on the podium. And the ever-popular Claudio Remeggio Capelli on the top step.
Der Pokal für den dritten Platz an Kenko Miura, bitteschön. Der Pokal für den zweiten Platz, quasi die Silbermedaille für Melvin de Groot. Und der Sieger aus Italien, Claudio Capelli.
And here we are, Capelli receiving his P1 trophy from
Auch hier natürlich die Gelegenheit
Mr. Strom.
für ein schönes Siegerfoto, bitteschön.
Miura, de Groot and Capelli on the top step together. And then we'll make way for our next podium, which will again feature Bruno Mulders, the race winner. Continuing that theme of the youth movement, we had all junior trophy, of course, earlier on the overall podium in Pro. And Bruno Mulders will now be stepping onto the Masters Trophy podium as, of course, also our overall winner. Masters Trophy is for rookies and less experienced drivers. You'll see there that Jordan O'Brien taking the third step of this podium. We'll be looking for better things on Sunday. Should be well up the top 10 on the grid as well. Thomas Dombrowski has joined him on the podium, and here comes Bruno Mulders to the top step of the podium.
Auch hier bitte die Pokalübergabe. Rang 3 von Andri, Joe Vogt von Hougier. Platz 2 Moritz Morschnein und Thomas Dombrowski. Und der Siegerpokal von Daniel Strom an Bruno Mulders.
And there's the presentation then to our winner. 2 trophies for Bruno Mulders. Masters Trophy win always welcome, but I'm sure particularly sweet, of course, that first overall win in the division. Jordan O'Brien bantering a little bit there. Good to see him back with club competition. It was a fairly late deal to get him back out for Oschersleben. The Las Vegas, Nevada resident, as he alluded to in his interview. Certainly looked like he'd been through a hot process in the car. No doubt that exhaust issue was cooking him a little bit at the helm of the 22. Let's see what progress they make with the setup overnight. Happinessa to the top step in the Lady Trophy classification. He started the race late, only got a few laps in. 77 crew at promotion have been working hard today. The car has had a litany of dramas. They'll be hoping for clearer things on Sunday. And Nessa, the only Lady Trophy driver here this weekend, claims her P1 trophy within that classification. And that is our presentations up on the podium done for today. Of course, we next will be looking forward to the Sunday racing. But before we switch focus to what will come tomorrow, let's take one last look at what happened in an epic Open Division race.
Wir begrüßen euch morgen wieder 10:30. Dankeschön. Bis morgen.
Well, the earlier race in Pro gave us reason to believe that the Open Division race was going to be a bit of a spectacle, and so it proved to be. Everyone, though, was clean through the first corner. Bruno Mulders had a fabulous start and led the race early on. We had battles between Krasonis and Teufel. This was for second place, and it looked like Thomas Teufel just allowed Krasonis through, eventually deciding discretion was the better part of valour. Some close wheel-to-wheel action between Capelli and Dombrowski further back in the field. This was for 5th position out there on the road. Meanwhile, Mike Wise going off the circuit there. He was getting lapped at that point and ran out of road. Unfortunately, Mike having a tricky day out there, but getting to the flag in 21st overall in the 21 car. Meanwhile, Valentino Gambarotto seemed to have quite a loose Alumatech Racing Ford Mustang after the rear end was largely completely replaced, much less repaired after the Pro Division race. Gianmarco Ercoli providing quite a torn-up car at the end of the 20 laps in Pro. And then speaking of torn-up cars, a couple of collisions between Schober and Dubeck. It looked like there was an initial piece of contact there on the straight before the triple between Hasseröder and the triple that took out Patrick Schober's tyre, and then as a result of the tyre going down, Schober ended up into the side of Dubeck. Dubeck continued on without losing any positions. Unfortunately, Patrick Schober would not see the checkered flag. Jordan O'Brien saw an opportunity to try and get around Martin Dubeck, but it wasn't going to come easily, and ultimately Dubeck would retain that position. On the final lap of the race, there was a gladiatorial scrap between between Bruno Mulders and Thomas Krasonis. Mulders had been defending hard for several laps, and so it would prove to be that he could get one over on Krasonis and claim his first win in the NASCAR Euro Series Open Division. A delightful performance from both parties and a deserving winner in young Bruno Mulders, but it will be Thomas Krasonis that has an extended championship lead going into Sunday in the Open Division. We will be back with lots more action at Oschersleben on Sunday. Make sure you join us for Open in the morning at 10:35 Central European Time, and then the Pro Race just before 2 p.m. on Sunday as well. It's been a thriller on Saturday here at Oschersleben, and I expect more of the same in less than 24 hours.
Stop your engine!